It's the 2013 Cup. Okay, one of my brothers had followed a girl to Venezuela as a documentary filmmaker. Leaving to go to my dad's 80th birthday, he gets arrested and accused of espionage. Okay, yeah. So, and it was a national story. All right, and right up to the president, we were able to get him out. It's like an Argo type tale. So,
wow.
You guys came with the Hawks like the following October after the morning skate. You've just won the Cup, and the Enlightened one, JT. We're gonna have to send him this clip. The first thing he said to me is, "Tripp, I read the story about your brother. Wow." And he started asking me a bunch of questions. I'm like, Johnny, I had no idea you knew that. I mean, he really enlightened. I'm going to carry that with me, Sharpie.
He is, and he keeps evolving. He keeps changing. When I first met him back then, that name Captain Sirius that Brent Seabrook gave him, it was well-deserved. This was a guy that would be in bed. He was roommates with Seabrook at home in Chicago that first year. He'd be in bed at 9:00. He'd be up at certain times eating. He was just so disciplined. This is a kid that went to Shattuck St. Mary High School. He went to North Dakota, which is well-respected kind of hockey factory, especially at the time that Toews was going there. Great star players were getting cranked out of North Dakota. This guy was just on a mission to get the best out of himself. And he was such a leader by example early on, just doing things his own way. He wasn't afraid to, just because these veteran guys have been doing it a certain way in the NHL, the old boys club or whatever you want to call it. He's not afraid to do something different. And because he believes in his ability and his strength and his practices. And now you talk to him and it's not even about hockey anymore. It's about life. It's about being relaxed. It's something else he's into. So he's in really good shape now. His nutrition and his diet has dialed in to as good as I've seen. There's a couple of guys in Chicago that treat their bodies real well. And Toews is he's always in great shape, feeling good. So, it's amazing to see the career that both Patrick and Jonathan have had to this point, and they still got a lot of years left to play, I think.
I tell you, I was in Sedona a couple summers ago and just having dinner, and got to know the waitress, and she said, "Yeah, Johnny Toews was here, and he's the Enlightened one."
The Enlightened one, I like that. That's a good name for him.
He was going to bed at 9:00. That's usually right around the time I'm throwing out the vibe at Tavern on Rush. That's another story. Well, if you could pick one moment, Sharpie, in any of those 3 Stanley Cups, whether it's on the bus, in the room, in the hotel, on the bench, even on the ice, signature Jonathan Toews leadership moment, maybe a little tale that epitomizes it, what would it be?
Yeah, I was doing some interviews with the return to play here, and I was getting some questions about those old Hawks days, and it made me think, there's a lot of big moments. There's one that wasn't even in a cup year that is just typical Toews. 2011 first round playoffs, our 3rd year in a row playing Vancouver. We're down 3-0 in the series. We come back to tie the series. Now it's 1-0, game 7, all game long. Final minute of play in the 3rd period. We're shorthanded. So game's over, series is over, we're done. Toews makes this incredible individual effort. He's got 0 goals on the series. He's on his belly. 2 guys are on top of him. He scores the goal in the final minute to tie it, to send it to overtime. The Hawks just won't go away. You can't kill the Hawks. And it was Toews with a big moment. Then I turn on the World Cup of Hockey, and it's Team Canada against whatever the team name was. So it was a Team Europe in the final, whoever it was in the final. Tie game, final minute, and it's a shorthanded situation. Brad Marchand's on the ice with Jonathan Toews. Toews makes the play, sets up Marchand for the winner. It's comical that you text with your buddies, oh, here comes another big moment, another big opportunity for someone to step up. And then it's Johnny every time. The shootout situation in the World Juniors. There's so many times Toews has had just an okay game, played hard, but didn't really do anything. And then the Hawks go into a shootout. He's the first guy that shoots, and he comes down and he puts a move on the goaltender and scores. And no one's ever seen that move before. Not in practice, not in pregame skate. He just does something. You're like, what's going on here? So that goal against Vancouver, we ended up losing the series anyway, but in the moment you just thought yeah, of course Johnny scored on his belly, his first goal of the series to tie it, to send it to overtime on the road. It was just textbook Toews. Kane's not too shabby either. He's got some pretty good moments over the years as well.
Well, the Enlightened one, that's going to stick. And I